We're live? Welcome to Status Coup. I am Jason Peters. We are out here in North Carolina doing coverage of the Hurricane Helene relief 2.5, 3 months after the actual disaster happened. How are people doing? How are they overcoming? We are one of the only people doing a follow-up on this story because Status Coup does boots on the ground reporting that other outlets do not do. Standing here in Haven on the Hill in Waynesville, North Carolina, I'm here with Sean O'Brien. Sean, could you tell me a bit about Haven on the Hill, where we are, why you're here, and how you ended up here and what the situation is?
So we ended up in a hotel after Helene because we didn't have anywhere to go. And we were very grateful for that, but we were obviously looking to find something else, and we found we wanted to get a camper ourselves, but you know, it's really we couldn't get it with our credit, so we found I guess Operation Rising Sun was the charity that brought us in. So they gave us the camper, and James Lunsford, I hope I'm saying his last name right. Mm-hmm. I should know that. We're on his land, his family's land. They let us park the camper here until, you know, we could find where we were going to. We just needed a hand up, he always says, to figure out where we're going to go next. And then just more campers started coming in, more people started coming in, and we have a community pantry, we have an outdoor kitchen, we have volunteers here all the time, and we're just, you know, we're thriving as a community together. I mean, obviously there's everyday struggles, but we have people here that get out in the community every day and check on people, make sure they're good, make sure they got gas for their generator, make sure they have propane, make sure they have food, you know, any necessity. And we're just all kind of coming together, and I really think, yeah, Haven on the Hill has just changed my life.
Yeah, here at Haven on the Hill, I talked to James, the creator of it. He said that there's more than 60 RVs, and I can see that is true, and more than 100 people staying here, some for different variations and durations of time. How long have you been here? When did you decide to come here?
So we've been here almost 2 months. I think it was around like November 20th or 22nd when we actually got here, and we fell in love right away with the mountains. We get to, you know, it's a little crowded here where all the RVs are and everything, but there's lots of places to explore around here. I get to, you know, walk the dog to the farm and see the animals. So it's been a blessing.
So, been here for 2 months. Helene happens. What was your life like before the hurricane came? What happened to your home, and how did you end up here?
I would say our lives weren't that different before Helene. I'm a stay-at-home mom. My husband, you know, he was out of work for a little while, but luckily we were okay there, and he's back at work now in Asheville. And I mean, not much has changed. I would just say we have less stuff, but I mean, it's really taught us a lot, like living in this small camper together, not having all the things that we're used to having. We spend more time together. I mean, honestly, I think as a family, we're a little bit stronger, and we found God together. This place has definitely brought me closer to God. We've had the Whittier Church of God here, and I've gotten really close with the pastor and his wife, and yeah, I think a lot of people are like finding their place here. It's really cool.
You have an amazing outlook on this situation, and you have a very good attitude. It's very refreshing.
Yeah, I've heard that. I feel like I'm definitely here for a reason. I'm spreading hope, and my husband as well, and a lot of other people. There's so many people that are spreading hope here.
So you said you were staying in a hotel for a little bit. Yeah. Was that through the FEMA help and the FEMA stuff? Can you talk me through your interactions with FEMA and how that was?
We haven't had any really negative interactions with FEMA. I know some people have, but I think we applied right away. I mean, as soon as we as soon as the storm happened, a couple days later, we applied right away. We got our $750 credit, and then we got the voucher to stay in the hotel. And yeah, and we were just kind of starting to clench a little bit and grind our teeth, like, uh-oh, because the vouchers, our voucher was supposed to run out December 25th, or December 5th, sorry. And we got the camper November 20th, November 22nd. So yeah, we kind of got it just in time. And I know some people did get extensions, but I'm happy to be here. And I think all the extensions ran out anyway. So hopefully people have found places to go.
Yeah, and it's scary to be relying on the extensions and having to apply and then wait on eggshells on if they read the application, if it went through. So you found this
is our home. This is our home now. This camper has been donated and gifted to us, and we actually have something. We've never even owned anything. We were just renting. That's what's been so hard for people that have lost housing with Helene, is if you were renting, there's nothing they can really do for you. It's just find more housing. Well, finding affordable housing in Asheville was hard before the storm. Yeah. It's impossible now. So yeah, this has been a dream come true.
That's grateful. What do you see for the future? What do you see happening in the future? Is there anything that you specifically need, or?
No, not really. I mean, we've just been kind of trying to set this place up for, it's temporary housing, but temporary housing can be, for 3-6 months. We don't know how long we'll be here. And if we do end up leaving, in the spring or the summer, I want to have it set up better for other people to come in and be able to have a hand up. We want this to keep going. I'm hoping that will happen, and then other people can benefit from it. We want to start community gardens, everything.
So speak to me about where you were from previous. You were from Asheville, the city, right?
Yeah, we were from Asheville.
And your old neighbors, the people that you used to rent next to and live around, have you heard from any of them? Did people move back to that area, or is the whole thing gone?
I think a lot of people are back in that area now. I don't know. I think some of the houses are empty. I don't know if there's people living in it, but I think they're fixing everything up. I think there's definitely people. I think Swananoa is more the area that, last time I was there, the Walmart was closed. A lot of those places you can't even, it's just blocked off with tape. You can't even go into. But our area, I think for the most part, there's still trees down and, dilapidated buildings.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's all good. Is there anything else you think that we should know about your current situation that the mainstream media may not have covered?
Just that we need help. If you know any volunteers that have I just heard someone here this morning say, they felt a kick in the butt to just get out and help. I mean, if you know people that just feel like they want to come help, we could use the help. We're still trying to get these wells set up for people, water set up, so everybody's camper can have their own water system, and yeah, any help really.
Thank you so much. Yep. Yeah, is there a donation? I think our next guest will have information on that. Thank you very much for speaking with me.
I'm full aware.
Excuse me, how do you feel? No, okay. Yeah, the dog was fantastic. And now joining me is James Lunsford. James Lunsford, who set up this Haven on a Hill camp where people are seeking shelter from their situation. What inspired you to get involved?
My mom. She told me to do something, and I did.
So what took place? She said that her camper was donated to her. How have donations been for you? How did this all come to be?
Oh, this is 100% donations, but we need more donations every day. Now I've got to the stage we need people to donate vehicles, RVs. If they can help monetarily, we've got we have our own bank account now. If people want to help monetarily, we're standing on $10,000 worth of gravel right now that was a mud hole. And we're getting ready to put in more infrastructure, so we're going to be raising funds for septic and water and the power. All of it got approved last week by the county.
Okay.
So now they won't have to be dependent on generators and carrying water. They'll have a more permanent to help them get back up on their feet.
That's great. And you said the county approved this stuff. Have you been working with like the government and local municipalities, and how has that gone in making all this happen?
Kind of funny, the county wasn't helping with anything, so I just went to the state level. Now the county's helping.
What do you mean they weren't helping? Just
They weren't doing anything. They wasn't providing anything. They would give somebody a hotel voucher for a week or something like that. We would suggest putting parks like this, and they're like, no. We suggested tiny homes. They said no. So we went to the state, and the state approved, and the new governor stepped in and really approved. And now we already have 11 tiny homes waiting on people to put in them. It's just waiting on their infrastructure. And we can be able to help more people because we've got over 100 in here already. And these actually have their bathroom and laundry facility waiting to be set up when the snow melts.
so, talk me through this for the people at home. We got people from all over the country watching. Where are we in relation to Asheville? What is this area? Just talk me through like the local feel of where we are.
Well, I've got people here from Asheville. I got people here from Henderson County, Yancey County, Brevard, which is Transylvania County, because nobody's doing this in those areas. Nobody's stepped up to do it.
Well, his phone's ringing. I'll let you get. Yeah, you can answer if you want. Okay. You also, I've talked to you. I saw a volunteer from out of state. There's volunteers scattered throughout. How has that been to see people coming together to help one another in need?
Oh, I love it. It takes a team. There's no I in team.
Speak to me about the infrastructure. We've got water, we've got gas. You had mentioned that you got a fire truck to deliver the water now. That was recently donated, you said. What is it like essentially having to start a civilization, start like a real full-blown community out of nowhere? Had you ever seen this in your future pre-Helene?
Oh, no. I've seen storms where this should have happened that didn't. So now we know it can. Yeah. And it's not that difficult. It's expensive and it's long going, but people needed help.
How long do you see this being a part of your future?
As long as they need it.
That's admirable. Tell people about Haven on the Hill, where they can donate, what the deal is.
We have a bank account. We have Venmo. We have Zelle. I have a lady that takes care of all the banking. So I don't have to because I usually don't have time to.
Many of the organizers that we've interviewed on this trip, their phones are ringing nonstop from folks in need of shelter or a place to stay.
Mine gets up to 450 calls and messages a day.
450 calls and messages a day?
500 a day.
It's a miracle that we got in contact with you.
It was a slow day yesterday because of the weather.
Got it. Yeah, how many displaced families, how many displaced people do you think are here?
There's over 100 people, but I would say at least 65 families.
From all over the state, all over the area.
I got 4 out of the weather the night before the storm. I was out till 3 a.m. getting one gentleman standing right there. I was all over the Henderson and Black Mountain and Swannanoa getting people out myself 2 nights ago before the storm. And we got them.
So speak to me about October 2024, pre-Helene. What was your life like? What were you doing?
I was retired. But I helped with the Cajun Navy in Louisiana 20 years ago. And they were the first group that was here to help. And basically one of the old timers I was with then said, hey, this is in your backyard, brother. You got to help. Been here since. And I've got so many different organizations that's helped me. We have our own backbone crew. We have more behind the scenes people. We have Leslie Pringle that does the financing. We have Patricia Inslee that stays on social media. We have volunteers that are permanent here now that are from other states. We have the other one. We have United Cajun Navy. We have Operating Rising Sun, who did all this skirting in 2 days for these people.
Yeah, so I saw that. The skirting, is that just pretty much weatherizing the trailers for the snowstorm?
Well, for weatherizing for winter.
Yeah.
Because all they can do is keep the wind out.
How, obviously there's snow all around us, snow all over the mountains. How was fighting through the winter storm and with all these campers and all these people?
We were ready. Because of Operation, Tommy Miller and Jerry stepped in and did all this in 2 days.
You talk about all the people that have helped you. Have you guys been in contact with FEMA at all?
Why? I asked FEMA, sitting right here, what they could do to help me help these people, and the gentleman looked at me and said, "Oh, there's no program that will help you help these people." I told him to have a nice day and walked away.
So not helpful.
None at all. I'm getting donated RVs when they have hundreds sitting in different locations that I could be putting people in. And they're sitting in locations.
Is there anything else that you think people should know about Haven on the Hill and what you're doing?
If they have any doubts or want to see, they can come anytime. Because a picture's worth 1,000 words.
All right. Well,
See it with their own eyes.
If it wasn't for you guys, volunteers and the community,
It wouldn't be here.
yeah. If it weren't for people like you,
There's been over
where would these families be?
through here alone. There's been over 150 come through here alone. Some of them's got to go into homes. Some of them's got to go to their own properties with their own RVs once they got cleaned up. So we running about 100 steady count, but there's been over 150 since the storm. Not to mention the ones that we've reached out and helped in the other groups. And we've sent RVs, we've received RVs. We send supplies, we receive supplies. It's a teamwork. I mean, we do it with Operation Rising Sun, United Cajun Navy, Unite the Tribes. Oh, there's too many groups. I can't even name them all.
I was going to say, how has it been, like, disaster happens, Helene happens, and then all of a sudden all these people who lived in the community and maybe didn't talk to each other are now...
They're family and friends now.
Yeah.
I mean, they're family and friends now.
Well,
I want to know, James, how does it make you feel that, what's happening in California, they've
oh, okay.
a lot of help recently,
Yeah, how do you... Yeah, I'll ask into the mic, or can they hear you? How do you feel about the comparison between the California disaster response and the North Carolina disaster response?
Bad, because their people reach out and ask them to come in and help, where ours were just dragging their feet. If they had been more proactive, we would have had the same kind of help they're getting. But they weren't.
All right, well, you got a lot to handle on your phone. Is there anyone else?
Get you the donating information.
Oh, the donate information? Well, you could go to Haven on the Hill's Facebook. I know that. That'll be a good place to start.
Yeah, that's a good place to start. Miss Leslie Pringle takes care of every bit of that. And she actually sent me that info. And now I can't find it. Oh, I found it.
I was going to say it's probably lost in the 450 calls you get a day.
Well, I had her to resend it this morning. So I would have it fresh.
Yeah, do you want to show us around a little bit?
Sure.
All right.
I thought it was.
Yeah.
I'll text it to you.
Yeah, he'll send. We'll get the donation link soon.
We've got a GoFundMe, we've got Venmo, we got Zelle. Don't fall on the ice.
It's not on the Facebook page. I couldn't find it when I
The address here is 9999 Orrin Davis Road, because it does not even have a physical address yet.
I was going to say we could not find it on the GPS.
It got turned over to the addressing office Friday to get its own permanent address.
And if you come up, be careful. There is ice everywhere.
But, I mean, as far as mailing address, I mean, we have a mailing address. It's 158 Weeping Cherry Drive in Waynesville.
Got it. So what do we have here behind us?
We have a skating rink.
Yeah, I know. Play some ice hockey.
We have a cooking tent, because we have a resident cook. So if the people don't even have to cook, it gives them a chance to get out and get together.
Yeah. The amount of propane and propane tanks.
Ungodly.
And I'd heard multiple residents talk about using Starlink to get access to the internet.
They were worried about they wouldn't have internet in this modern age and time, so that was one of the first things they had was the Starlink, so they would have.
Is the pantry?
Yep. No, this is the cooking tent. This is ship. This was the temporary.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the permit now to build his permanent one.
Okay. Oh, look at all the prime. How'd you get all the prime?
From Prime.
Prime gave you all that prime?
Yeah. We have, under those tarps, are donated solar units to go in the RV starting next week.
Have you been surprised by the amount of like charitability out of like companies and stuff?
Overwhelmed. No, not companies.
Not companies, people?
Yep.
Got it.
I've been disappointed in companies, especially like the RV dealerships and the car dealerships, because a lot of these people lost vehicles. Mm-hmm. And I've got to go pick one up today for an individual. They just called me an hour ago.
Got it.
Pantry. This is where they can go grocery shopping without going to the grocery store.
Wow.
They keep it, Patty and the rest keep it stocked full of food. That was the dining hall to the storm.
What? The cabin?
The big tent.
Oh, okay.
That was the dining hall.
This is a tent that got
That
snowed
was
in?
the big one that got collapsed.
And tell us about this this cabin. This is just something that's been on your property?
That barn's been here for probably 100 years.
Are you surprised it survived the storm?
Oh, it's survived many storms. We didn't have any damage here. I had one dead tree fall. And that was the damage. But
Isn't it crazy? It's spotty what got hit and what didn't. So
Hit and miss. There's the new kitchen. There's going to be the new kitchen and dining hall.
right here?
Yep, the counties came and pulled the permits, and that's going to be the new kitchen and dining hall.
It's honestly impressive. I thought it was going to be a community garden with how it's roped off.
No, those are going to be on out there more in the sun.
And then
They're already planning on community gardens. Yep, we got the fridge and freezers full of food.
fridge, freezer, community jobs board.
Yep.
Do you even have to plug the fridges in, or do they just stay cold in the winter? Oh yeah, the freezer's plugged into a generator. How many generators do you think you have on this lot?
70 maybe. How many do I need? 70 more. They die. They're having to run them so much, and they're not built for that. But they're having to run them so much. I'm constantly having to replace and take and get repaired, and it's just this weather's bad on them, and then use them all the time don't help either.
Yeah. I don't think there is any weather that's good to generators, except like temperate.
All the time. And a lot of these people were unfamiliar with RVs. I mean, this is a new world to them. Just like it was me. They asked me what I knew about RVs, and I said I've never slept in one.
So you went from never having slept in an RV to having a community of RVs. No, it's honestly. And you said this is
going to be the size of the new kitchen.
Oh,
That's the floor for it.
That's going to go over there.
Right.
So, and you said this is only one half of all of the camp. You said there's another half of the camp that just opened up.
Started. We had more time, so we were able to go in and build roads. We were able to put out pads for the RVs, like they're going into a regular RV park, instead of just to get them out of the cold quick.
Got it.
Because some of these people are already saying, "Oh, we're moving to the new park, right?"
I saw, families, children. How many children do you think are here?
At least 20.
20 children.
I've got disabled in wheelchairs. I've got senior citizens. I have
People in wheelchairs living in the snow?
Yep.
This
is the quiet part down here.
Do you ever expect a hurricane to really do the damage that it did?
Not really, because we've already been pretty protected in the mountains. I mean, they got a little bit of damage off the Fred thing a few years ago, but nothing like this.
Wasn't Asheville considered a climate change haven?
Yeah.
Before this?
Asheville, Yancey County, Madison County, all that area.
They were considered safe from the effects of climate change, I guess, because it's so far inland and the mountains.
The mountains to protect it, and they didn't protect it because, like your cameraman was saying, it was spotty. It was just hitting where it wanted to hit.
And
we can stand here, and we can go 15 minutes down the road where they haven't cleaned up yet and still see cars sticking out of the river. It's crazy.
People are still missing that got washed away.
Yeah,
Can't even comment on that. I'm not allowed to.
yeah. We spoke to
I
money.
tell the truth.
We're
I do tell the truth, and that's why I can't.
yeah. It said something like the death toll was 104 people, 118 people.
On a day.
You said in a day.
That's probably what gets recovered in a day. Well, not now at this point, but yeah, that was probably what was getting recovered in a day. I talked to one rescue group that had recovered that in 2 hours, but they won't tell anybody.
You're not the first person to tell us this.
They won't tell anybody. It's like they're afraid to. I don't know which higher up's afraid to tell the truth, but I got a feeling it's all going to start now. Since we have new state leaders, they're going to make them start telling the truth. I hope.
So a question for you, sorry, is a little personal. Have you personally lost anybody because of the storm?
No, I did not. Did not. I know some of these people have. They've watched family members wash down a river in front of them while they're on the roof of a house.
Well, I'm grateful for you that you didn't have to deal with that, but that's horrible.
Too. But it's been the same as because these people became family.
Now,
This is an odd question, but do you feel a sense of pride about what you've accomplished for all these people?
I love it. I love being able to have done it. I mean, and any of the other groups will tell you, I never asked for recognition. I never asked for money. I never asked for a pat on the back. And they said, you got to stop that. But it's hard to stop it because I've never done it.
yeah.
I mean,
You said you're retired. What did you used to do? What work did you used to do before you retired?
I worked for Animal Services here in Haywood County. I worked for the county government. And that's what I retired from in 2009 was the county government.
And the county was giving you grief?
All the time. They gave me grief when I worked there, so that wasn't nothing new.
I was saying they knew you. That should be a layup.
Yeah, no.
It be your own people. That's terrible.
Yes. Very. I've had stories that commissioners are sending in investigators to try to get things said it was fraud and everything else, and I'm like, don't tell me, show me. Show me what was fake, what was fraud. Then you can tell me. But don't tell me and then just assume. Because they need to spell the word before they start assuming things. You know what the first three letters of it is.
Ass.
A-S-S, you and me.
So question for you. A year from now, a year from Helene, what do you imagine the state of Asheville and this area, Waynesville, is? Where do you see it going? Will there still be a need for this level of temporary structure, or do you think that things can be back on its feet?
It can be it could have a good start to being back on its feet. But people need help. I mean, like my motto is a hand up, not a hand out. And that was been my motto for the beginning. Any of the residents here can tell you that. I won't give them a hand out, but I'll give them a hand up.
I had spoken to some people yesterday that talked about the snowstorm being almost traumatic because they'd already been through one natural disaster. They were worried about what the snow would do because it kind of brought up those feelings. But how worried are people about the 2025 hurricane season?
I've not actually talked to any of them about it. They've been so peaceful and settled trying to rebuild what they've got now, I don't think they've even looked that far ahead. They're just taking it one day at a time. And that's what I gave them time to do.
Yeah.
Just give them time, because some people's lost everything more than once. We had one young lady and her kids that lost everything in Ruffton in the storm. Then she got donated an RV it was a used RV that had electrical problems, and she was coming home 2 days before Christmas, and it was a tinderbox. So she lost everything again. And she still stands proud.
Check my phone. I'm interviewing people. Looking at my phone.
This is going to be the new septic tank system. They've got the flag marked out. That's why there's no RVs there yet. Because I knew that's what they would finally decide on, so I left it alone.
Ooh.
We had this tent, and it was gorgeous. And we wanted the all wedding tent, the big event tents. And we had a windstorm in December, and it just ballooned it and disintegrated it.
It's safe to say that pretty much everyone here lost their homes.
Oh, most definitely. And most of them were like renters or something like that. And FEMA don't help renters. If they didn't lose a home, they will give them the money to build one if they didn't lose one to begin with.
Oh, that's true. And you said you tried to build tiny homes here, and you weren't allowed.
They were already built. And
They were already built?
already built, ready to be donated. And the county said, no, you can't put tiny homes for people with this, this, and this. And then the state stepped in and said, no, this is for emergency shelter. They didn't care if it was a doghouse that a person could fit in. Mm-hmm. The county had no authority over it or anything else for 180 days.
Are the tiny homes going to be built now?
I was already built. I've got 11 of them
Oh, where?
down at the new place.
The new camp has the tiny homes?
Got 11 of them down there and about 6 RVs.
And how long did it take to get allowed to build the tiny homes? How long was that process?
2 months.
2 months of fighting with the government so you could build shelter.
Yep.
And they told you you couldn't do it, but they didn't provide any alternative.
Yeah, so they just said no.
Right. And I told them, watch me.
The same way that FEMA said, we can't help you help them, only we can help them is essentially what they said.
Exactly. The FEMA came up here to talk to these people. When they left, one of the residents walked up and said, now you see why we depend on you so much? I said, yeah, that was 45 minutes of my life I'll never get back. Because it was just a waste of time.
So no monetary funding from FEMA or the federal government in any capacity?
Nope, not yet, but I look for that to change around the end of the month.
Oh, yeah. You're hoping that Donald Trump can...
He's already been business, want to know it twice.
Interesting. So you have faith that once the new administration comes in, maybe some help can come your way?
A bunch of changes. A lot of accountability and a bunch of changes.
Well, I mean, that's something to consider. I don't know. I haven't seen, but what leads you to believe that?
I heard it straight from the people responsible for it.
So like people within the team?
People within his team.
So
Just like the new governor did as soon as he took office the 1st of January. Once the new administration took over to where it could correct things, it started immediately.
So you've already seen a change in your interactions with the state government?
Yeah, state government has pretty much told the county, help these people do what they need. The governor said, help them or answer to me.
And why do you think that is?
Because he was sitting there as Attorney General seeing them not get any help and couldn't do anything about it with the former legislation. The new bunch, he don't have to sit and wait. He does it himself. It's just a stroke of a pen. He did six or seven executive orders within 2 hours after he was sworn in for helping the people.
Got it. Do you think any of these guys want to be interviewed?
Yeah, they'd be glad to talk to you.
All right, let's go see what a resident has to say. And do you have anything else to tell the people at home?
Help us.
Oh, did we get the...
Did we ever get the Venmo?
I'll
Yeah, look over it, and while we interview someone else, you can pop in and tell us. So, Patty, do you want to talk? All right. Come here, pup. How do you feel?
She says it's gone.
Yeah, no, I see her shivering. Oh, we're going this way. So, once again, Jason Peters from Status Coup. If you like this sort of on-the-ground coverage, $5 a month to Status Coup can help support the thing we're doing. Oh, yeah. So, Patty is your name, correct?
Yes,
Full name?
Patricia Austin.
Got it. Where are you originally from, and what brings you to this camp?
So I was born in North Carolina, but I've lived in Tennessee. And when the floodwaters happened, my kids lived where the flood ended. And we were actually headed to Asheville, and my dad called and said, "Girl, you ain't getting over that mountain." So we stayed in Newport off that grill right there and fed 3,000 people for free, just because there was no food, no water, no electric, and it was a beautiful thing to watch the move of God through people and how the unity of the nation come together. And then we went back to work and
What do you do for work?
we own Q's Catering and Backyard Barbecue and Kingdom Smoke Cabin Cleaners. And so Black Friday, my husband's like, "What do you want to do?" And I was like, "I want to go help." And so we heard $1 billion spent on Black Friday, and then we heard a baby froze to death over here in Western North Carolina. So if we're going to spend $1 billion on Black Friday, why can't we spend some money on getting people warm? So Patricia Tinsley called me, and she's like, "Hey, we need help at Haven on the Hill." My husband's a chef, and I'm really good at coordinating stuff. So we come over here, and once you get here, it's hard to leave. Once you see the people and their needs, and how they've really been let down a lot, and you get to know them and know their stories, and it's just hard to leave.
So, had you lost your home?
I did not lose my home in the flood, but I had family that did. And I had family that lived in Swannanoa and family that lives in Newport and Parisville. And when we were giving food away up there, we seen people from $1 million homes and people that lived on the streets. And the one common denominator they all had is they all lost everything. And, we would pray with them, and we would feed them, and when we would be running out of food, I'd be sitting in the truck praying, and people would show up with $1,500 grocery orders. Like, it's just amazing. And, they're all just people. Everybody has a story. Everybody comes from a different walk of life, and it's just a little bit of kindness goes a long way. They're not asking for a handout,
So, you're here as a volunteer helper, just helping.
Whatever they need. We feed them, we take them to the store, we pray with them, we get them anything they need. We coordinate supplies, donations. I mean, the generosity of people is amazing. And I don't just do it for here, but East Tennessee, Swannanoa, like, they'll reach out and I'll be like, "Hey, this needs to go here," and it's just, these people just are fighting for what's rightfully theirs.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but I've done some research on the GPS and on the maps. It looks like a lot of the state crossings into Tennessee are closed in this area, and going up north, you got to go south to get into Tennessee. What is all that all about?
So the road washed away between the Tennessee state line, between exit 450, which is the last exit before North Carolina, and exit 20, the road is gone. The flood washed the interstate away, and the other day when they were trying to get one lane open, more collapsed. So you have to go either through Hot Springs, which totally got washed away too, and go up down through the Dragon, as we call it, to get to Tennessee, or you have to go up Blue Ridge Parkway to get to Tennessee. So what normally takes an hour now takes 2.5.
Yeah, I'd noticed that because we had been interested in seeing what had happened on that side, and we were just like, all of the highways to get into Tennessee are shut down.
If you go out of here and go up what we call the Dragon through Hot Springs, it'll take you through Del Rio, Bobby, down 2570 to get to Tennessee, and you can see where Parisville is no longer there. You can see the damage all the way up the mountain.
They had said that there was a few towns and cities that had been completely washed away. We were in Swannanoa yesterday. We saw the shut down Ingalls debris.
Batcave. We took, on my birthday, which is a week before Christmas, we took presents to Batcave.
What is Batcave?
It's up by Chimney Rock. It's a little town that's no longer there. It is, their post office is their camp, and it's heartbreaking. It's still down to one lane road. You still see houses in the river. You still see trucks in the river. You still see debris. You still see the body counts on the houses. X means they checked it. 1 means that's how many bodies were found. And they're still having to look at this every day. It's so sad.
The reporting has said that around 100 people have died in this disaster. What do you think about that?
They sent 10,000 body bags out and then requested more. My friend Michelle Patton, who is a fellow TikToker with me, she started doing search and rescue and wellness checks. She had 4,000 people on her list. She's down to still 400 missing. That's just around here. That's wrong. That's wrong. You know, and I had people reach out and watch my videos from Texas and Nevada and Utah, and they're like, we don't hear about nothing of this on the news. We went to Southwest Florida, where my husband's family's from, and we were showing them pictures, and they're like, you don't hear about it anymore because they're wrong. There's thousands upon thousands missing, and there's thousands are dead, and there's thousands that are still looking for their families, and there's kids without parents and parents that can't find their kids, and it's wrong. They're wrong.
How do you feel about the responsibility to house people falling to just members of the community, FEMA not really stepping up to the plate, the government not really helping?
You know, FEMA come out here, right? And there were 2 of them out here, and we're like, you know, some of these people, like one has a heart condition, you have to knock on doors. They spent 30 minutes out here. There's one that has rejection letter after rejection letter because where they're living here, it's not a disaster zone. But when they put the address of where you send their mail, so they get denied because they're here. It's
Wait, people are getting denied from FEMA because they're even here?
This is their address, and this is not considered disaster zone. So even though they come from Black Mountain, Swananoa, and all that, this is their home address, so they'll deny them automatically. There's 3 or 4 of them in here that they're like, I give up. You know, there's one that lives in Asheville. He's like, I watched everything down the river. I watched it go. The guy that lives right there, his whole wood shop floated down the river. These people's story is heartbreaking. And a lot of people are like, oh, well. But that's not the case. You don't hear about it anymore. You hear about Hollywood burning, but you don't hear about Western North Carolina, the people freezing to death. There's still people in tents. There's still people in tents. And there's FEMA's kicking them out of hotels. And we're pulling RVs in as fast as we can. And it's sad. It's super sad.
So FEMA was only here for 30 minutes?
They were here for 30 minutes. And they didn't knock on half the doors. Because Patricia up there on top of the hill, she's like, I didn't even know they were here, Patty. I'm like, they didn't knock on your door? She said no. And we told them to knock on every door.
I was going to say, I think we've been live for longer than 30 minutes.
Yeah, we have. We have. FEMA doesn't, they say they're coming, they don't show up. They say they're coming, they don't knock on doors. It's super sad.
Whew. Have you lost anyone due to the hurricane and the fallout in your life?
I had an uncle, Ronnie McDaniels, that died in Swananoa, and I didn't find out about it until weeks later. But I know plenty of people that have lost.
Was he like considered missing for like 2 weeks?
Nobody had heard from him. And he was in one of the nursing homes that got flooded out. And then next thing I knew, they were like, an obituary for him. And I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, he died in Swananoa.
Well, I'm incredibly sorry for your loss. I just asked because the people at home who are just learning about this or are learning about it, I want them to see that there's real life.
There is, you know, and like we're nestled up here on top of the community, and people don't even know we're here helping people, you know, because everybody tries to keep it under wraps. But it is so sad. There's thousands upon thousands upon thousands that have nothing. You know, and there's generosity of 1 million people that come in here and, you know, they bring them warm clothes. But what are they going to do in the long run? You know, what are they going to do in the end? You know, like, how do they start again? If FEMA's not going to help them, how do they start again? Because here we got them warm. We provide them with whatever we can, the best we can. But what about in the long run?
I was going to say, what do you imagine the future of Asheville is, say, a year past Helene?
It's going to take a minimum of 3 to 5 years to rebuild it, period. We're over 100 days in already, and we're just now getting people out of tents into RVs. Like, where is the money? Where's the $25 million concert that was put on for Western North Carolina? Where's the $2 million Dolly Parton donated? It went to Samaritan Purse and stuff. Well, Samaritan Purse ain't never stepped foot up here. So where is the money? Where's the help for these people in the long run? Why are we not trying to rebuild them homes and not just put them in RVs?
How has been surviving the winter in these RVs and in these camps? How has it been dealing with the weather as we move into the winter months?
It's horrible. Like, I live here on site with them, so I know exactly how it goes. Your generator runs out of gas. The oil freezes in your generator. Your propane runs out at 3 a.m. And while we try to have it stocked, but when there's one truck that can come up and down the mountain because it's iced over, you know, we have 55 gas jugs in the back of our truck. Like, it's hard.
And a lot of people don't know how to survive.
Yeah. Did you have the survival skills to deal with this situation before this, or are you learning on the fly?
No, I am a country girl. I'm from the hills of North Carolina and Tennessee. I'm more of a tent girl kind of campground, but I know how to do it. And luckily my dad and them, you know, my dad come down to help. Michael Curtis has come down to help, you know, because they grew up, they're from the hills of the mountains, you know, so they know how to fix generators and help with RVs. But a lot of these people never step foot in an RV.
So a question about FEMA. Do you feel as if FEMA is letting you guys down because they're underfunded or just because they're incompetent?
Both. I feel like this was such a tragedy of mass altitude. Nobody really knew what they were doing. And now it's just like they're so far behind the 8 ball. How do they get in front of it?
Is there anything else that you think the people at home should know about Haven on a Hill, Asheville, and Hurricane Helene?
Hurricane Helene was absolutely devastating for many, many people. There's thousands missing, there's thousands dead, but there's also so many people that are just now learning about what's going on up here. And this place up here is truly a safe haven for people. We don't turn people away. We have a zero tolerance for a lot of things, but if you're trying to help yourself, like James says, it's a hand up, not a hand out. And we try to help everybody, even if they're not here. We send things to other camps. You know, if Swannanoa calls, hey, I need this, we send it. Black Mountain, East Tennessee, it doesn't matter. We direct things everywhere it's needed.
By any chance, do you know what the Venmo is or how people can donate?
So we have 2 Venmos. We have Haven on the Hill Venmo, which I can give to you. And then I have a Venmo too. Mine's just Patricia Austin 50, and then we go buy the gas or whatever here. We have a Cash App, which is, I believe, is Haven on the Hill. Can you get her for a second? I can pull it up on my phone. Leslie sent it to me.
Yeah, well, we've been trying to pull up how people can donate to Haven on a Hill for the last hour. So we would really love to have that information so that people could support what you guys are doing and take care of these people. Once again, people at home, $5 a month keeps us doing on-the-ground reporting and going to places that the mainstream media is not, like in Haven on a Hill in Waynesville, North Carolina, in the middle of January.
Sorry, we haven't made no one text.
We're still searching, yeah. How many texts do you get? James said he gets more than like 450 calls a day.
Minimum. We did my screen time yesterday, I spent 8 hours on the phone. 3 of it was messaging, 4 of it was on the phone, and like 2 or 3 of it was doing videos and stuff. So the Zelle number for Haven on the Hill is 843-957-0329, and it says Leslie Pringle. The Venmo for Leslie, which is Haven on the Hills, is Leslie Pringle-2. The Cash App is CAPTSUNDOWNER 55. That's the Cash App. We also have a Mighty Fortress PayPal, and it's Mighty Fortress Ministries PayPal, which is our 501c3, which we use it for donations up here too. And then Patricia Austin-50 is my Venmo, and we all just take it and we go get gas, we go get propane, we go get food, we go get supplies, and it doesn't really matter where it comes to. It all goes to Haven on the Hill.
Is Haven Hill a nonprofit or is this mutual aid?
That's mutual aid. We have a at-risk youth 501c3. It's called Mighty Fortress Ministries, and we're kind of the umbrella for it up here.
I was going to say you have a at-risk youth 501c3. How many kids are staying in this situation?
Like 12 here. But see, our at-risk youth ministry was created 3 years ago, before Helene ever happened. But you know, there's so many children that are now orphans. There's so many children that just, you know, need it, but also adults too, you know. And so, but when we come here to do relief work, we already have the 501c3 for 3 years. So it's a blessing to have it up here already.
So, Yeah, what is the schooling situation for some of the kids that live up here?
So some of the kids are homeschooled, and some of the kids do they call it online learning, and some of them actually go to school, physical school. But we're in the process of building the kitchen, so we can bring the kids down, and teach them a culinary skill and the Word of God, because we love Jesus on this hill, you know. So that's just, we love all of them. Like, everybody comes from a different walk of life, and it's beautiful to see the unity, but the kaleidoscope of people that live here.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Do you have anything else that you'd like to say in closing?
I just want to say that, you know, these people they're beautiful, and they need help, and they just went through the single most traumatic thing of their life, and they're not asking for anything but help, you know, to stay warm, to eat the basic necessities of life. And it's beautiful up here. What James is doing is beautiful.
I agree. John, you got to get the dogs. You hit the camera, you got to get the dogs. This is just happening off camera, and beautiful things happen in sad situations. Yeah, what are the dogs' names? You said you just got them recently.
Haven and Grace. So one of the donors from Southwest Florida brought them up. They went to Spartanburg and got them for us. And they're sisters. So we have Haven and Grace.
Come on, Status Coup subscribers. You got to donate. Look at this. You've never seen anything like this on the channel. Do either of you guys want to talk back there or no? Nope, not interested. All right, let's go see if one of these guys wants to talk, and if they don't, we'll sign off. Yep. As you can see, they're laying salt, or is that gravel? Laying gravel, creating a driveway?
Yeah, just trying to get out a little bit.
Yeah, help some of these cars get out. Our car got stuck. Would you mind talking for a second? All right, he doesn't want to talk. This does not surprise me. I think that's all. I'm going to fall down this hill. My name is Jason Peters, signing off from Status Coup. We are here in Waynesville, North Carolina, at Haven on the Hill, the camp for people displaced by Hurricane Helene. Please consider donating or subscribing to Status Coup to help us do on-the-ground journalism that you're not going to see in the mainstream. Thank you for watching. And we will be releasing interviews from yesterday in Swannanoa, and we're here till Wednesday. We'll be live shooting more content. If you're out here in North Carolina and you're watching this, reach out to us. Reach out to @StatusCoup on social media, or reach out to me personally at jpeters2100. And before we sign off, we're going to see if Jordan has anything to say. Go hit the GoFundMe in the show description for Haven on a Hill and see if you can support. Thank you. Talk to you later.